No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smackin' Raw podcast, episode 209. I am your host, the Warden, Matt Ritter. I am here with my co-hosts for the evening. Proprietor of the Smacked Raw podcast, the man that gave your favorite podcaster, Katie Bay, her start, talent scout. From Smacked Raw, our friend Kyle. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Oh, I'm so stoked to be here.
It's been a really long time until you brought it up on the 200th episode. I didn't realize that you'd only ever been on once because we've done other shit for your show, so it didn't feel like that. But you made a good point. I had to get you back on, and what better night than tonight?
I'm telling you, man, it's tough being the least popular member of your own podcast. Okay?
That's not true. It's RN, but that's not here. And also back with us because of everything that happened. I had to have somebody here from Chicago with me to talk about it. My favorite Filipino from the Get Joe podcast, Justin, man, what's going on?
Yo, what a Friday night, man. I can't wait to talk about this with you, homie.
Well, so
what's up, Kyle? How we doing?
Oh, man, fantastic. What a surprise to see you, Justin, man. Pleasure.
I have a plan, and my plan is not to bust our nut right at the beginning of the show, because I feel like if we talk about Friday, everything else is just going to be low energy.
Oh, man, CM Punk's back. Stop it. That's the only reason people are going to tune in this week.
We are building to that at the end of the show because I don't want NXT and Raw and Dynamite to feel like, because everything else on Friday we enjoyed so much. So, first and foremost, as you guys know, right now from Smacked Raw podcast, Katie Bay is in Vegas with Reek and TC of Young Kings Wrestling for SummerSlam weekend. And I'm bringing that up because, as always, we like to plug Young Kings Wrestling Black Lives Matter t-shirts, which you guys can go get over at What a Maneuver. It is my pin tweet at Matt Ritter. That is at MATTRIDDER. The reason we do that is because it is not affiliated with the organization, but it does support the movement, and that money goes to a good cause. It is put into a fund, and then TC takes that money from those shirts and distributes it to people who are affected by police brutality and social injustice and things of that nature. So the people that have suffered receive money in support to kind of help them with their struggles afterwards, and that is something that we feel very near and dear about. So we do ask you guys to go pick up those shirts and go support those guys. Also, I didn't really grab a whole lot from news and rumors because I had a feeling it was going to be a big week, and it is a big week because we still have SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver 36. Like, it's not even done, but it's already been a big week. So the only thing from news and rumors that I really grabbed was Triple Mania. Ric Flair showed up, apparently rode a train and ate some chick out. I know it wasn't really him. But Ric Flair is hitting that figure 8 tongue lock on a train on his way to Mexico to support Andrade in a losing effort to Kenny Omega. And Deonna Purrazzo wins the Reina de Reinas championship, becomes a 2-promotion champion, both Impact Knockouts champion and AAA Reina de Reinas champion. So it was pretty cool. That was last weekend after we recorded, so that was a pretty cool weekend last weekend. We got more shit coming up.
What a time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Right.
Like who, and I'm like I said, hopefully this isn't leaning too hard on tonight's show, Matt, but I mean, let's face the reality, folks. SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver are living in the shadow of a 1-hour television show this week. that if that speaks to like the levity of like the day we live in, like the wrestling age we're living in, that a 1 hour show can garnish the type of hype that one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year and one of the most consistent pay-per-views of the year can garnish. Man, it's an awesome time to be a wrestling fan.
It is. It really is. And I'd say the rest of that show and this weekend is really just living in the shadow of 20 minutes of a 1 hour show.
Yeah, a 1 hour show.
But like I said, we're going to save that for the end, so we'll get into it. Anyone that has been, a fan of Bama Dave and Kyle and has not come over here and watched us, or you thought maybe Smackin' Raw and Smacked Raw were the same and didn't realize that they were the Walmart discount brand of us, and you're new here, this is what we do. So I'm going to start with Raw, and I will do a very quick rundown of everything that happened, slightly biased take, as I tell you everything that happened. And then when we get done, I'm going to ask Kyle and Justin what they spit and what they swallowed. And then we'll talk about what they swallowed, which is what they liked. And then we'll talk about what they spit, which is what they didn't like from the show. Then we'll give an overall spit or swallow for the show and move on to the next one, ending with AEW Rampage as our finale. So let's get into it. Monday Night Raw. Randy Orton comes out and basically tells Riddle to go fuck off, says he doesn't need him, says he's going to teach Omos a lesson, says he's a bit of a jackass. And then speaking of jackasses, Riddle comes down. Riddle thinks that this was all just a lesson that Randy was trying to teach him. He won't let go. AJ ends up defeating Riddle in a match, and then Randy bails on Riddle, and then Riddle is sad. Unfortunately, that does not last. We got a Nikki promo, same shit she's been saying. She loses to Rhea with Charlotte ringside. Jinder gets the boys pumped up to take on Drew and get his sword away from him, and we see Drew win another handicap match. Moist TV makes its debut with The Miz. Johnny Drip Drip apparently gets to make matches now, and he makes one for The Miz versus Damian Priest, which the Miz loses. And then Sheamus comes down and makes a match for SummerSlam, Priest versus Sheamus for the U.S. title. Eva wants Double D to kidnap Lily, and Double D fails. Mansoor defeats Mace, Randy, and Omos. Riddle tries to save Randy by taking out AJ. Randy breaks my heart and joins Riddle and makes the challenge for the tag titles in the worst segment of the week, in my opinion, but we'll get into that. Karrion Kross smashes Jeff Hardy and Gorilla and then defeats him out in the ring. Eva continues to abuse Double D, slapping her twice backstage after not getting Lily. We get a Reggie vignette about the park, and Truth and Tozawa failed to get the 24/7 title from him. Apparently, Elias is still dead. Rhea and Nikki lose to Charlotte and Nia Jax. And in our main event, Goldbergs. He addresses his kid. MVB pumps up the champ. Bobby says he's going to end Bill's career. Goldberg says bullshit and then delivers a bullshit-ass spear because he can't do it anymore. What are we swallowing from Monday Night Raw, if anything?
All right, so I'm going to start off and say, like, I'll explain it afterwards, but this entire show, okay, but this is a very personal experience for me. It's not going to translate for everyone else. And this is because I had two non-wrestling fans over watching Raw with me with fresh eyes. And we had the funnest time, like me explaining these ridiculous stories of why we have a show called Moist TV, what Lily is, and Riddle and Randy Orton's relationship. And the equivalent of this was we were able to genuinely laugh and have a good time the same way you would enjoy the Fast and the Furious franchise. It is so bad and poorly written, it becomes hysterical, especially to those who can have a good sense of humor, man. And I loved it for that reason alone. Had my family not been there, I would have hated this episode. I would have thought it was garbage.
We all know you love this RKO or RK Bro bullshit.
I do.
We know you do. And I've got a theory about that. And I understand why. I know I said some things, you guys did your check the temperature, and I said some things about people having shitty taste and blah, blah, blah. But I think the fact of the matter is you miss Kevin. And because you miss Kevin, you miss Kevin. And because you miss Kevin, you love this interaction, because in your mind, you're Randy Orton and he's Matt Riddle. Now, I've never liked, I like people who smoke weed. I don't like stoners like Matt Riddle and the aforementioned, which is no secret. We did not get along. Stoners are not my people. I don't get along with them. I can't stand them. But I feel like you felt like the Randy Orton to his Matt Riddle, and you're watching this unfold on TV.
Matt, you better timestamp this shit. I am taking this clip. This is fantastic.
I will.
Oh my God. You know what? Hey, look, man, maybe you know more about me than I know about myself, Matt. Okay. Didn't realize I was going to be on a psychiatrist table today, but listen now, or couch table. What the fuck? Like, I don't know, man. Like Riddle he's like a puppy. Come on, man. Who doesn't like
Riddle talks about Burger King like that motherfucker talked about blue cheese. Like, let's be honest here.
That's not the aspect of his character that I cling on to. I think that's terrible. And you know what? I've had enough airtime. I'm gonna toss this to Justin in just a second, but it is Riddle just reminds me of like a child's innocence before they're just ruined, and you being a new father, me being a father to a young child, there is something to that. Okay, we both have children. Arguably, children are pretty dumb, like Riddle, but they're innocent.
I'm not gonna let my child be that stupid.
Oh man, I don't know. You have it right. I can't follow that shit, man. That's hilarious. Who knows? Maybe I do miss Kevin. Who knows?
I'm also really enjoying these Elias. Like, I know they played the same one from last week, but these Elias vignettes, like, I'm curious where they're gonna go. I'm curious as to see who he's gonna become. Him burning the guitars, burying the gimmick. Like, it's not something you see a lot where they acknowledge that a gimmick exists and then they're like, yeah, the gimmick's dead. We're going to do something else. Like, they just revamp somebody, they show up and they pretend like nothing happened. So the fact that they're acknowledging it to me is really cool. And I'm actually interested because I've always kind of liked Elias. Yeah. I don't feel like they utilized him properly and that he was over to a certain point where he should have at least won like a US or an IC title. And they didn't really do that with him or give him a nice run. So I'm curious to see where they go and how they're going to use him going forward. So I'm swallowing that as well. Are we swallowing anything else from this show? Justin, did you hear anything that really tickled your fancy?
Well, other than Raw is funny when you just look at it from a sense of humor point of view, because it's like there's a lot of things that don't make sense that make sense. But I will definitely. I still have to spit it though. There's still. It's supposed to be a go home show. You're supposed to get hype for SummerSlam, and none of which anything that was on that show got me hype. Yeah.
Moist TV actually wasn't bad. I like that they're kind of teasing,
right?
Yeah, no, like for whatever reason, John Morrison is slowly starting, like, especially with the hurting for a squirtin', like he's starting to move into my realm of what I enjoy.
For a squirtin'?
Yes, that's what he's been saying. He said it last week and he said it this week.
Holy shit, I have not caught that once.
Oh, I want a hurting for a squirtin' shirt so bad.
No, dude, you print that on a shirt. I will wear that around my wife anytime we go out to eat. Like, I will make sure to wear that in public around my wife. I'll wear that to my kids' Taekwondo classes. Anytime you go out to eat or anytime you eat out. I got you. There we go.
Oh, nice.
But no, like this whole thing, like it's kind of getting Morrison over with me. And the fact that he, Priest kind of drove that wedge between them, and Morrison's kind of like, yeah, fuck you, and then made the match for the Miz versus Priest against the Miz's will, which is kind of what the Miz has been doing to him. Like,
yeah,
it's leaning into that storytelling aspect. Morrison's kind of growing on me now because he's leaning into my aspect of what I enjoy in my comedy. So I'm going to swallow that as well.
It takes time to get wet. It takes time to get wet.
Look here. So, man, okay. As great as it would be to be affable about this strongly reminds me of another time the Miz had a lovable sidekick that grew wise to the Miz's abusive tendencies, and that was Damian Sandow. Sandow quietly grew popular with the fans. Oh, actually, I wouldn't say quietly. He was extremely popular, but his character slowly came out of the Miz's shadow. Once he was released of the Miz's shadow, it was over for him. And I hate to admit it, I feel like the same thing would happen with John Morrison. We can get a really enjoyable story of him finally standing up to the Miz, but then once separated, I don't have the utmost confidence for that guy going out on his own. Tell me I'm wrong, Matt.
I'm going to, because John Morrison existed in the space of WWE, got over and was popular, and was even ECW champion without the Miz prior to returning. He has been, if anything, being attached to the Miz and being the Miz's sidekick has kind of held him back from being I'm not saying the guy's going to go on to win the WWE championship or challenge Bobby Lashley, but he could definitely be a top tier mid card star. He could be challenging for that IC title. He could be doing things, and he's very entertaining and exciting and high impact to watch in the ring, which Damian Sandow did not have for him.
What's a bigger accolade? What's a bigger accolade? The modern ECW championship that WWE produced, or the Money in the Bank briefcase?
Probably the Money in the Bank briefcase, because that ECW championship.
All right. In that case, Damian Sandow for the win. Thank you.
But Damian Sandow did not have the world-renowned wrestling appeal like John Morrison did, because he's been everywhere.
Dude, Morrison has the worst finisher next to the Bailey to Belly. The Starship Pain.
Oh, I know.
Garbage.
We're not talking about finisher. We're talking about as a wrestler in general. Like, more people will follow and respect John Morrison than Damian Sandow.
The only thing that's going to kill John Morrison is fucking Michael Cole yelling parkour every time he does something. That is the only thing that is. That is the only thing that's going to. I mean, they could. So Damian Sandow got over by parodying the Miz. When he got out of the Miz, he was no longer parodying the Miz, and then he lost his appeal, because that's what got him over. That was the problem. John Morrison can do what John Morrison is doing without having the Miz be a part of it and still be this character, Johnny Drip Drip. It's not reliant on the Miz. So that's where I see the difference.
No, I hear you. And listen, I don't disagree that much. I feel like the last several years of content I've ingested that involves Morrison has always involved the Miz, whether it be in WWE on his latest run or on Miz and Mrs., and it's hard to separate the two. Now, I don't know if like all wrestling fans have that, shtick that I do. But that's just me. I feel like this would have been,
well, I feel like splitting them up would have made for a good best friends turn worst enemies feud for a SummerSlam. So
yeah, I guess so. That'd be good.
What are we spitting from Monday Night Raw?
Oh, fucking dude, Drew McIntyre.
Yes. Drew and the stupid fucking sword and him doing the fucking handicap match
grandmother
again.
Fuck Drew McIntyre's grandmother. I'm tired of hearing that goddamn clout chasing bitch. Okay.
Wow. Yeah. He said fuck Drew McIntyre's grandma. That is what we do here, though. So
she gets too much TV time.
No, just this. I think they changed the sword. It's not even a Claymore anymore. Like, they got a much bigger sword than what he had before.
It's comically big, man.
He's doing the triple threat match bullshit again, which we already saw. Like, I want to care about Drew versus Jinder because of the history that they have, but the way that they have booked this feud about it being about Drew's giant fucking surrogate penis and Jinder's envy over Drew's giant surrogate penis that is this sword that he named after his grandmother, which is also fucking weird.
You would think this is right up Smackin at Raw's alley, though.
No, see, we deal with real penis. If Drew were to come out and smack Jinder across the face with his actual dick, I'm all for it. When he pulls out a sword and says, "This is a representation of my giant dick, and I'm going to scare you away with," like, that's not how we do things around here.
Oh my God.
I'm also going to spit, obviously, for me, the RK Bro shit. Because I did not want this to happen. I wanted this when Randy told Riddle to go fuck off and Riddle was sad. That was the high point of Monday Night Raw for me. And when Randy, because I knew AJ was going to make this happen. I knew this is where they were going because AJ kept poking the fucking bear, couldn't leave it alone. So now we're here. I knew it was going to happen, but it still fucking sucked because now, more than likely, RK Bro are going to become tag team champions. And I'm going to have to live with this for a while until Randy comes to his senses and RKOs and punt kicks this fuck Matt Riddle. And then I can be a Randy Orton fan again.
You know the odds of them splitting up at SummerSlam went up though because of the events of Raw.
Really?
And I said this on the Check My Temperature, was they missed an opportunity for them to embrace on the pay-per-view. That should have been a moment on the pay-per-view. You know, you could spin the idea that since they gave us the embrace on Raw, the plan might be for the turn at SummerSlam.
If Riddle catches the loss and then Randy blames Riddle for the loss and just punts the shit out of this kid's head, high point of SummerSlam for me. That'll be the best thing that they can give me on SummerSlam.
I'm just saying the odds went up because of the hug on Raw. That's all I'm saying.
Literally, the conclusion of that match is either the highest of highs for me or the lowest of lows. It's either RK Bro walks out as tag team champions and I am just sad and upset, or Randy fucks up Riddle after the match and I am flying on cloud 9. There's no in between. I'm also going to spit that Goldberg segment just because we have two major title matches on SummerSlam and John Cena, Roman Reigns is shitting all over Goldberg, Bobby Lashley. And also Goldberg hit like the shittiest spear I have ever seen. And that's counting the one that he hit on MVP. You have two moves at this point in your career, the spear and the jackhammer. You can't really do the jackhammer anymore. We saw that. So all you got is a spear, and that's not even impressive. You know, we're going to get into it when we talk about AEW Dynamite and Sting, but everyone's like, you can't cheer for Sting and be pissed off about Goldberg, but they book Sting in a way where Sting still looks fucking fantastic. And Goldberg repeatedly comes out and reminds us that he's not fucking Goldberg anymore. And we don't want to see it. It's not the same. They're booking him terribly and making him look worse and worse and worse.
Yo, no lies detected in that statement right there.
So overall, unless you guys have any other spits specifically,
let me give it another look. See here, I missed the very like the last like maybe half hour of the show.
So that was
no, nothing that's worth a soundbite at least.
All right. Overall, Monday Night Raw, spit or swallow?
Oh, fucking swallow. Just my unique situation.
I'm gonna spit it. Justin, what about you?
100% spit on the ground, step on it.
I would have spit it even if the show was fantastic, but they reunited RK Bro. I was still spitting that show. So let's roll into NXT. We kick it off with Malcolm Bivens. He's putting over Roddy, trashing Kushida, ignoring the fact that they fired Tyler Rust, who was pretty much the first person he managed and brought this whole thing together. And then Ilya Dragunov comes down to accept the open challenge. Dragunov defeats Roderick Strong and then screams for Walter after the match, but no Walter. We see Joe arrive to the arena. Hit Row calls out Legado. Escobar calls Swerve out to the parking lot. Swerve gets jumped. They start to try and rip his grill out again. Hit Row makes the save, destroys Legado del Fantasma. We even got that Kevin Nash, Rey Mysterio spot with Top Dollar and I think Joaquin Wilde where he threw him into the gate. And then Swerve gets his grill back. So that's a little build. I enjoyed the shit out of that. Knight talks shit and pays a dude to take Grimes out. So we see Grimes versus Josh Briggs. During the match, DiBiase makes a bet with Knight that if over who's going to win the match, DiBiase backs Grimes, Knight backs Josh Briggs. After the match, Knight hits Ted and takes Grimes out when he tries to make the save. We got an Imperium promo on MSK and them sanctifying wrestling. Imperium feels slightly fucking Nazi to me a little bit with the way they talk about wrestling and purifying wrestling and Walter's music and the way they stand and everything. Like there's a little Third Reich element to them that bugs me a little bit, but
it feels a little militant. We'll
yeah.
say that. A very pale militant.
We got the Way still hating on InDex, and Indy is just full of sexual innuendo, which I was all about.
100.
Io and Zoe are still not on the same page. InDex silences the Frankie Monet brand, which is what I'm calling it now. Indy goes to Beth to get something and then proposes to Dexter, and he says yes without saying yes. He nods because he doesn't talk. We get Karrion Kross arriving. Kai and Gonzalez do an interview. Duke Hudson loses to Carmelo Hayes, so Carmelo Hayes moves on in the breakout tournament to go to the finals. JC Jane vignette, which I really enjoyed. Apparently she's the girl that's been with Gigi Dolan, but until now she didn't really stand out to me, but this vignette did a lot for her in my eyes anyway. Cameron Grimes gets pumped up by DiBiase backstage, and the Cameron Grimes that we miss is back, and he is going to the moon. He's going to win that $1 million belt, or at least that's what he tells us. MSK defeats Imperium in the tag title match, and then we end the night with a Joe and Cross face-to-face. What are we swallowing from NXT this week?
Hey, listen, I actually watched it. I actually watched NXT this week. I know, shocker. I'll say most of it, man. The majority of the show was good. I think Swerve looked like a fucking idiot, agreeing to walk out to that parking lot by himself. You know, but I mean, that's just the common thing in WWE. That's not like something unique to Swerve. Baby faces often are easily fooled. But no, the show was good. You know me, I'm a goof. I love the cheesy stuff. I'm honestly kind of a fan of all of the Dexter, the InDex stuff.
Oh, I love it.
I will say this, not a fan of the proposal tonight. We definitely, I thought, needed more dating vignettes, at least like a month's worth of dating vignettes before we fast tracked it to the marriage. But no, I thought it was awesome.
I can agree with that. I'm going to swallow the InDex stuff. Them doing the silencer, his finisher, both at the same time. Him with Robert Stone on the outside and her on the inside with Jesse Kamea. I enjoyed the shit out of that. I will agree that I think that we really could have and should have stretched this out for a little more. I don't know why they rushed into it, but we're going to get a wrestling wedding. The Way's going to try and destroy it. It's all going to be fun. There's probably going to be Indy planning wedding shit and Candace and Johnny trying to sabotage it and whatever. So we'll see what we get. Again,
can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Because if you guys aren't familiar, I haven't really watched weekly NXT for the better part of a year or so. And when did Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano become Indy Hartwell's parents? Like when did that happen?
That was months ago. That was probably it, right around the inception of the Way itself.
Did they
because
slowly like transition, or did they just like were your parents now? Like how did that?
So basically, they were mentoring Austin Theory and Indy, but there were vignettes where like around Christmas where they were giving them Christmas presents, and Indy's Christmas present was her name Indy Wrestling and stuff like that. So
that's
like
actually really nice.
Because Johnny Wrestling, Indy Wrestling,
Indy Wrestling.
Yeah. So they've been doing it since the inception of the Way, really, but it's gotten a little more hardcore over the last few weeks with them like not wanting her to have sex with Dexter Lumis and doing everything they can to prevent, like, tell her what she can do with her body, even though she's a grown-ass woman. So having a match for her pussy, Dexter versus Johnny. But yeah, no, I've been enjoying that. I also agree with you. I was on Twitter and I said, Swerve, what the fuck are you doing? You know better. It is well known that the NXT parking lot is the most dangerous place in the world. And we live in Chicago. Exactly. We live in the murder capital, or near the murder capital, since I'm out in the suburbs of the world. And I'm more afraid of the NXT parking lot than I am of going downtown. That should tell you something.
100%.
So
100%.
Swerve going out there by himself, knowing that it's a setup, but trying to be a man. I enjoyed, like I said, once Hit Row got out there and the brawl happened, and everything, I enjoyed all that. I enjoyed Swerve getting his grill back and everything. But I was on Twitter like, come on, Swerve, you're smarter than that. This is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. And like you said, that's what baby faces do. I don't know how or when Swerve became a baby face, because Hit Row kind of started off as, or were intended to be a heel group, and it's one of those heel groups that just got over, and they're like, all right, I guess you're baby faces now. But I was digging that as well. Obviously the Samoa Joe carrying Cross face to face, I cannot wait for that match. That is one of my most anticipated matches of the week, is those two.
Can you believe that Samoa Joe, after not wrestling for 18 months, his return is overshadowed by, I guess, like some other guy's return this weekend? Like,
I don't see
if it wasn't for CM Punk, if let's face it, Samoa Joe would probably be the big thing we're all talking about. I would think that would be it, at least.
Yes and no. I mean, you've also, so Samoa Joe is the match, him possibly winning his third NXT title, being the first person to win 3 NXT titles, is something that, as an NXT fan, I'm really excited for. But the reality of the matter is, whether or not I love NXT and I think NXT is one of the best shows, if not the best show of the week, it has the smallest viewer base of any of the shows.
It's very true. It is very true.
While us hardcore fans or WWE fans who are somewhat familiar with it or who watch NXT are excited about it, the wrestling world as a whole doesn't really know about it or really give a shit, because they don't really know who Karrion Kross is.
Right.
They know who Samoa Joe is, but they're not watching the product. So I think Cena and Roman would be more of the talking point than, especially if Cena wins his 17th title, that would have overshadowed whatever happens on Sunday anyway. But I still feel like with the matches we have set up between Dragunov and Walter, Joe and Cross, Kai and Gonzalez, that NXT TakeOver as a whole, wrestling wise, is set up to be the better show going on after SummerSlam. And this might be WWE's thing, because a lot of the times you watch, especially when they're in the same weekend, you watch a TakeOver and you watch a SummerSlam or something, you're like, oh, TakeOver shit all over SummerSlam. So maybe if SummerSlam happens first, you're not going to have that reaction with TakeOver going second.
Why. Yeah, it's exactly why, man. They saw the writing on the, what was it? It was a couple years ago, right? I can't remember exactly which one it was. If it was like, I think it was a TakeOver in Survivor Series, but it was the first time that NXT TakeOver it was either a larger viewer base or a better live attendance than the following pay-per-view. Like, they outdid them.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I wish I remember exactly which one that was, but yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the smart thing to do. It's a smart thing to do. Do you guys think NXT is over? Do you think it's done?
I don't know. I don't like to believe in the dirt sheets and Dave Meltzer and his bullshit. I don't trust in Dave. Dave is not my god. He's very biased in his reporting. I'm one of the people, and it also didn't quite work out in my favor, but I'm one of those people where until it's official and it happens, I'm not gonna lean into it. So I did the same thing with OnlyFans, and unfortunately, it looks like OnlyFans has updated their user policy, and now you get no more anything but nudity. Anything that is an actual sexual act after October 1st will be banned. This was reported. People didn't believe it. I was one of the people, I'm like, I'll wait till they say something. They said something. It is now in their user agreement.
If you follow me on Twitter, I've already said this, but look, they're going to need some mods to curate their content now.
Which, let me side note here real quick because I don't think we have anything really to spit from NXT, right?
Particularly
no, there's nothing to spit. But
all right,
but swallowing everything, man, especially B-Fab coming out with the bat.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna swallow NXT. Kyle, you swallowing NXT?
Yeah, all the way.
Justin. All right. So Vince came on this show last week and had a little rant last week about how I'm not monogamous, how he was gone and he came back and Jizzy was here and then Reek was here. The reason I can't be monogamous with Vince is exactly what you're seeing right now. He's not here. I have to go find other people to connect with because he's not here. So now I've got Kyle and Justin. I can't be monogamous. Also, I've been trying to get that motherfucker to open an OnlyFans account for months. I offered to come down and film him having sex on his casting couch with whoever and put that shit up and make some money. And he didn't do it. And now, as of October 1st, it will no longer be allowed. We never got to make that OnlyFans.
Dream is dead.
We could be rich right now. And instead, we're sitting in the same spot because just like Travis with Pogs on Pogs or wrestling inspired dildos or One Fall, my wrestling dating app, he didn't follow up on these great ideas that I have. We could be millionaires, but they're not trusting in my ideas.
Look, man, let's just say you're not the only one that's ever been let down by Vince. Okay. Us over at Smacked Raw feel like he owes us a certain nightmare tattoo. Even went all the way to shoot a vignette and never got it.
I wouldn't say Vince has let me down. I'm just saying he needs to understand that there's a reason why I cannot be monogamous in our relationship. Though if in any way, shape, or form I can get him to still do that nightmare tattoo, we will make that happen because I do agree that
You
should
hold his
happened.
ass down. He ain't that big of a guy.
He won't.
hold
He
him
won't
down.
give me. He wouldn't tell me where to come to shoot the fucking pornos I was trying to shoot for OnlyFans. He won't give me his address. All right, let's talk Dynamite. So we kick Dynamite off. Mox and Kingston come out, but Everrise take them out from behind, or 2.0. I'm sorry. And then they call out Darby and Sting. Sting and Darby defeat 2.0 in a no DQ match. It becomes 3-on-2, and then Eddie shows up and takes out Danny Garcia. We got Sammy pulling an index, but in real life proposing to his girlfriend. And then we get a vignette from Spears backstage saying he'll let Pam be on top for one night. So
yeah,
that was a thing. Then we get their match. Sammy ends up defeating Spears. We get a big brawl. I have an issue with this match. We're going to get into it. Sammy gets an assisted pile driver on the outside. All this before the match actually starts. And the issue that I have with the match, which we'll talk about more here in a second, is the use of the guardrail without a DQ. Don Callis greets Christian, and Christian tells Don Kenny's going to lose and calls Don a carny piece of shit, which I feel like a Christian carny piece of shit shirt is now like, should be a thing.
Should happen. Should happen.
Dan Lambert, who Kyle, I'm sure, can speak a lot to because he has an MMA podcast.
Fuck yeah, man.
Screams at fans with two MMA former heavyweight champions as backup. Continues to trash AEW.
Hey, hold on. No, dude. Andre fucking Orlovsky and Junior Dos Santos, two of the most decorated MMA heavyweight UFC champions of all time. Thank you.
100%.
Lance Archer comes out, but gets jumped by Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I can't speak to that because I'm not an MMA guy. So
no,
I just know what AEW said. And AEW said two former heavyweights.
To hardcore UFC fans and MMA fans, man, they're big deals. Those were
They're definitely in people's top 5, top 10 at least for sure.
Dude,
especially
a lot of fond memories about those two guys. Trust me.
All right. We got a Jericho promo. He says everything that has happened has been worth it to get his hands on MJF. Jurassic Express lose to the Young Bucks for the AEW tag team titles. Really, they lose to the Elite because they get involved. Kenny takes out Marco Stunt. Christian comes for Kenny. They brawl to the back. It's just too many people for Jurassic Express to fight off. After the match, Gallows drags Christian to the ring, and the Elite destroy Christian and Jungle Express. We got an interview with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, where Jamie Hayter challenges Red Velvet to a match on Dynamite next week. We got a Matt Hardy vignette, and then OC's response. And I don't give a fuck about the Hardy family office. They have done a really bad job making me care about those guys.
Dude, even us AEW stands over here. It is what it is.
I don't understand a faction that's comprised of all tag teams, but neither here nor there. We got an announcement from Big Show, which is cut short by Bowling Shirt and his friends. QT puts Big Show's surgery photos up for everyone to see and talks about his titanium hip and all the shit. And he's like, you think I give a shit about that? Like, I came out here to announce.
He's still like 7'4", however big he is. Like,
Yeah, like
he's one
and
shot.
now he's
and
partly
50%
bionic.
Yeah, no, he's bionic now. Yeah, you're right.
He should be the Bionic Show. But it's no more BS. So Paul White announces that at All Out, we're getting his return to the ring versus QT Marshall. So that is another return to the ring AEW is giving us at All Out. We'll talk about another one later. We also get announced for Rampage, Jade versus Kira Hogan. Tag Team Eliminator Tournament is announced. Taz introduces Starks. Hobbs beat up backstage by Brian Cage. So Team Taz leaves. Get a Pac interview. What chance does Andrade stand? Andrade hands over an all-out 3-movie script of stipulations. That Pac, like, dude, this thing was like that fucking thick. Like, I've never seen a contract that fucking thick for a match that Pac has to agree to. Penelope Ford loses to Thunder Rosa. Brock and Arn have an interview, and Brock is a fucking idiot because he said he wants Malachi Black. Oh, Brock.
Dude, that. Oh, God, Brock, really? Look, man. Keep wrestling nobodies and get us hyped for that Spinebuster return. Big misstep.
Big misstep.
Big misstep.
We get a Miro vignette where he challenges Eddie Kingston. Mox basically says that he hates everybody. He hates Christian. He hates anyone that's come to this company the same way he did from somewhere else because he did it 1st and this is his company. And he hates all the new guys too. So he wants to fight Danny Garcia on Rampage in the main event. And then our main event of AEW Dynamite, Jericho loses to Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the fifth labor. And I believe, as per stipulation, Jericho is done, at least for now, because we know it's wrestling.
Right.
That'll give him some time off to go tour with Fozzy. So, what are we swallowing from AEW Dynamite?
Crickets?
I was leaving it to Justin. I was like, man, we've had a lot of fair time.
No, it's all good. What I'm swallowing, I'm definitely swallowing. I actually like that MJF Chris Jericho match. I thought it was good. Of course, like I think, it's definitely going to prolong the storyline just because, he has to go play his guitar. What's it called? What else is
Well, you also with that, you got all of the fans singing Judas as he came out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Yeah, that was also dope.
He stopped the ring announcer from announcing him so that the fans could sing the song. He fought trying not to use the Judas effect, and in the end, MJF gets the win. So he's building future stars, and that's what MJF is a future star. So props to Jericho for putting MJF over and helping build MJF's legacy in AEW. What else?
The Thunder Rosa match, I thought it was good too. It was pretty decent. I mean, it's a homecoming for her.
The fact that AEW has not been utilizing her more as a crime. That crowd reacts so strongly to her entrance. And I was there. I was there in Charlotte for Fight for the Fallen. One of the loudest pops of the night. We got to witness both. We got to witness Dark, Elevation, and Dynamite all in one go. And Thunder Rosa, who came out on Dark, had one of the best entrances of the entire night. And also, by the way, on a side note, surprising one is Red Velvet too. People love Red Velvet. Like, I don't know if it's translating on television, but in person, Red Velvet gets a really strong reaction.
She's like Brandy's mini me, but a better wrestler. I also want to swallow Sting and Darby defeating 2.0. Like I said, we're going to keep the same energy for Darby that we keep for everyone with this stuff. But
hold on, let's appease the Cornette fans. What'd y'all think of the table spot no sell?
I enjoyed it. And
go ahead.
It was. So he took the power bomb through the table. He stood up, but Bully Ray explained it perfectly. Shout out to Bama, who always talks about Busted Open. I listened to the podcast version. I don't get to listen to him live, but Bully explained it perfectly. And if anyone's going to talk about a table spot, it should either be Devon or Bully Ray because they are the most synonymous. Bully said, in video game terminology, Sting is like 98, like a 10 as far as power and strength goes.
Overall rating. He's a A like he's an S rank.
Yeah. He is the kind of guy that can do that. Whereas when Cody Rhodes did it against Malachi Black, Cody is not that guy. Cody should have been laid out for 3 segments and 2 commercial breaks. Like Sting has built up that credibility with the crowd. That is his character. That's who he is. Guys like Sting, guys like Undertaker, they can do that because it's part of their character. The Fiend could do that because it was part of his character. So I had no issue with it. Actually, I thought Sting looked fucking awesome. And it is one of the biggest props that I can give to AEW is how they have utilized and booked Sting and made him look so good in his matches. They have highlighted his strengths and hit his weaknesses. They put him in tag team matches where he's not getting blown up.
They're 3 for 3. Him and Darby are 3 for 3 for fantastic matches.
And that is why I am also swallowing Big Show versus QT Marshall, because this is something that AEW has done very well, is taking these guys and highlighting their strengths and hiding their weaknesses. Now, say what you want about Bowling Shirt, that Apple eating fuck QT Marshall. He is the guy that is training a lot of this new talent. So he is the perfect guy to put Big Show in there with to protect Big Show and make Big Show look good. He is someone that's going to sell his ass off, make Big Show look like $100, $1,000,000, whatever. He's going to do a great job. So Big Show's going to have a good showing. It probably won't be a long match. It'll probably be a quick squash, but Big Show's going to hit everything you want to see Big Show hit, and it's going to be good to go. So, that is the biggest outside of the people they have signed. Like I said it tonight in a group chat. If they sign Bray Wyatt, I am officially going to change my allegiance because Alistair is already over there. Now CM Punk, which we're going to talk about. If they get Bray Wyatt, they've got like everything I really, really care about in wrestling's over in AEW now. Like the only thing they can do is go get Undertaker and give me Undertaker versus Sting, which will never happen. But if they did that, like I just stop watching WWE altogether.
Those two are going to be shown on a promotional video promoting 2K22 facing you. No way, you can't because Sting's in AEW. Never mind. They can't even do that.
I was going to say.
Wait, hold on. Going back on this, people are really shitting on people thought it was a no sell on the table.
Well, it was a no sell, but people are complaining because you know how Jim Cornette is about not selling spots and like. So I'll talk about it. So is there anything specifically you guys want to swallow?
I mean, not. I mean, I'm okay.
All right, so my big spit, even though I enjoyed the match, like Sammy and Shawn Spears tore it down, my big spit is the one complaint I have about AEW, which is that things don't make sense. So they took a guardrail, they put the guardrail up between the guardrail and the ring, and then they did an offensive move onto it. And I said, how is that not a DQ? And someone said, it's the same thing as when someone powerbombs someone on the ring steps. Now, while I hear what you're saying, I also don't like that, and I don't agree with that when WWE does it, and I give them shit for it, because if you hit somebody with the ring steps or you slam someone onto them or you put them through an announce table, it should be the same as putting them through a table. You could not take a ladder and set a ladder up like you did the guardrail and slam someone onto it and have it not be a DQ. So if you're going to use the guardrail the same way, then it should have been a DQ. The refs saw it. If you bring the steps in the ring and do it, it's a DQ. So
here's the thing though, and I'm reaching here, man. I'm just trying to create debate. I ain't gonna lie. You can throw somebody into the barricade. You can throw someone into the guardrail. You can throw someone into the ring post. Those are all legal items. If you're not picking them up and striking them with it, I kind of agree with ring step guy, but it looks like a table. And that's the weird part. It looks
so
like
for me, it's the way they set it up. It's the way they set it up. And it's the same thing, like I said, with the ring steps. If you were to take the ring steps and bring them in the ring and slam somebody on them, then it is a DQ.
Yeah.
It is the way you utilize it that I have an issue with. So it's my biggest gripe. So I'm spitting it for that fact, because you could have easily made this also a no DQ match, or just not. Like, that match didn't need that spot. That match was great without that spot. You had, Shawn Spears talking shit about Sammy's fiance before the match. They did that awesome cutter spot off the top rope. Like, you had enough there that you didn't need to do that. So by doing that, you're just doing it for what? Because now you make the ref look less credible by not calling a DQ, because that was the other argument was, oh, well, it's referee's discretion. Well, if the referee let that slide, then they're a shitty referee.
Yeah. I can see that argument. I really can. And I will say, I think a lot of those ref arguments. Do you think AEW could fix it just by allowing more no disqualification matches?
So all AEW needs to do is establish AEW rules, kind of like ECW. I'm
Yeah.
not saying make every match a no DQ match, but just tell us what AEW rules are. And Bully Ray again mentioned this. He said, the biggest issue with the Young Bucks is the way the Young Bucks wrestle their matches. So just say that all Young Bucks matches are wrestled under Young Bucks rules. And then that eliminates the lack of tagging and them being in the ring and all of the shit that goes on in a Young Bucks match that people tear down because that's not what you do in a tag team match generally. Give us AEW rules. These are AEW rules. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. This is what a DQ is. This isn't. And if you do that and establish AEW rules overall, and you abide by those rules that you establish, then you eliminate that issue. But
And
nobody
it's
knows
still
what the
logical.
fucking AEW rules are.
Yeah.
Because they don't tell us. So you assume it's the same as WWE or every other promotion you watch.
Yeah, I got you. No, you're right. It'd be an easy way to silence a lot of those people saying that it's illogical, like the refereeing is dumb and their psychology is illogical. Yeah, you just say it's part of the rules and bam, they don't have a leg to stand on at that point.
I'm also spitting Matt Hardy and everything Team Taz because I do every week because the whole Team Taz shit and the FTW title has not
I missed
sold me
that.
at
Did
all.
they say someone had a gun? I missed
What?
the Team Taz segment. What was the Team Taz segment?
All it was
Yes,
Taz introduced
Song,
Hook.
right? Song?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he introduced Hook and then he called out Ricky Starks. And then I kind of tune out whenever they come on TV, but I know that I think Will Hobbs was in the back and he got jumped by Brian Cage. And then they were all like, we got to get the fuck out of here. And then they left. I don't remember anything about a gun, but I also wasn't paying full attention
It was
because it was Team
over
Taz.
in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The segment was like ridiculously fast. Hold on. Ricky Starks called out Brian Cage for a face-to-face, showed Will Hobbs beating down Cage, and then the Machine rallied. Starks hightailed it away. Oh, I guess, there was nothing crazy to it. I just, in the background, I thought I heard someone like, he's got a gun, get the fuck out. Like, that was like what I heard.
I think he said we got to go. Get the fuck
we
out.
got to go. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
This isn't Chicago. They're not just carrying guns
It's
around.
not. It's not. Hey,
Like,
listen, man, they got Brian
Texas.
Pillman's kid. You never know. All right.
Speaking of which, I think was this one in Pittsburgh as well? Yeah.
I thought this was in Texas.
Or was this in Texas?
This
I
was
know
in-
Katie said that when she went to the one in Pittsburgh, which might have been last week, she could see Brian Pillman Jr. from her seat. Like she
It was
wasn't
in
far away
Houston.
from him. Okay.
It was in Houston.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Thunder Rosa, which again, I agree with you. Their women's division and the women that they have, like Hikaru Shida's on Dark every week now. They're not really utilizing Thunder Rosa. I have been a big Abaddon fan since the second I saw Abaddon. She's the thickest demon in the world. I would sell my soul for that or to that, however that works.
Wow.
They have a women's division that they really could be highlighting, and they're really only focusing on Britt Baker and whoever Britt Baker's fighting, or the next challenger they build up, like Chris Statlander. So they could be doing more on Dynamite, and they should be, especially with all of these random, like, take the Hardy family office off my fucking TV and give me another women's match. Like, take Team Taz off my TV
100.
and do something with your women.
Agreed.
Overall, AEW spit or swallow.
I also got to spit the crowd though.
You're spitting the crowd.
I'm spitting the crowd because they all should know the lyrics as many times as Jericho put that damn lyrics on his Twitter. Everybody was not in sync. And then all of
The
a sudden,
first
like when
portion
the
of the
chorus
song does
came, they're like,
not
oh,
lend-
okay, we all know it.
I will say
But
that.
I
will
mean,
say
understand the
first
timing
portion-
of getting crowds to sing a song at the same time.
So the first portion of the song does not lend.
it doesn't lend itself well to the crowd. Even I was like, when you had the entrance, when we didn't have to it rely on us. Even we were just like kind of mumbling along until we got to the.
It's
the
really only
chorus.
Yeah, I was gonna say everyone really only knows the chorus.
Yeah, exactly.
What have I become?
Yeah.
Even Sammy Guevara, when he was singing it, like he mumbled and then he got to the chorus and then he started rocking out. Like,
yeah.
so, but yeah, no, relying on the fans to sing you to the ring in sync and
It was still
legibly,
dope though. It was still dope.
yeah, it was cool, but yeah. I'm gonna swallow AEW. What about you guys?
Same. I'm gonna have to swallow too. There was some good stuff on there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for me.
All right. Tonight, Friday night, as we record this, kicking it off with SmackDown. A enraged, insane Edge comes to the ring, says he knows that a curb stomp from Seth Rollins could end his career, and then basically admits to premeditated arson by saying he's going to burn Seth Rollins to the ground. We got Dominic getting fathered by Ray. Ray loses to Jay. Dominic gets kicked out for cheating, or they try to kick him out, and then he gets attacked by an Uso. Ray loses to Jay. Corbin defeats Owens technically by DQ because Big E came down to get his shit back and attack Corbin. Corbin escapes with the briefcase. We got a Bianca interview. She's kind of warned, like, hey, maybe challenging two people tonight, the night before you have a match with Sasha isn't a good idea. And she goes, I don't give a shit. I'm going to fuck up Zelina. I'm going to fuck up Carmella, and then I'll fuck up Sasha tomorrow. Like, you are going to get the baddest, the nastiest, the dirtiest, the meanest. I really like this promo from Bianca. Favorite part of SmackDown, always going to be my favorite part of SmackDown. Shotzi and Knox defeat Natalya and Tamina. They are now the number one contenders. I don't agree with having a number one contenders match against the champions to become number one contenders, especially because they've already beat them twice. But I got Shotzi and Knox on my TV. That's all I asked for.
100.
Seth responds to Edge and gets a blood. Like, we got the fucking Brood music.
Yeah.
And they called it a brood bath.
A brood bath, and it was black, not
Black.
blood. Oh man.
Not blood.
Have
Well,
we
it was
really
probably,
has WWE really
dark
gotten
blood.
that scared of being edgy?
I think
That you
it's-
can't
It
have
might be
red.
because it's on
Peacock.
Fox and it's not on USA.
Oh, Fox. I'm sorry, Fox. Yeah.
That's the only
The
excuse
kids
I can
got
give
it.
them. But no, it went really cool. Like when the Brood music hit and Edge came on screen, I got super excited. And then when I saw that he was all black and not red, and they started saying Brood bath, I was like, way to
And
kill
then they-
something really cool.
And then the music never got to the music.
Yeah.
Like we had to experience
Oh,
a
the
commercial
beat- when the
break
beat
before
came
we
in?
actually got the real
Yeah.
music. We just kept getting the intro on loop.
Yeah.
Just the heavy breathing. Hey, listen, that was ASMR before
Yeah.
ASMR was a thing, man.
Mhm.
The Brood started that shit.
We got Ivan Drago defeating Apollo Creed. We got Nakamura and Boogs defeating Apollo.
These of course,
Crews.
referring to Otis and
Montez Ford.
Montez Ford, of course.
We'll talk more about that here in a second.
Oh, man, I
Nakamura
can't
and
wait.
Boogs defeat Apollo and Aziz. Bianca defeats Zelina after Carmella fakes Zelina out and throws her in first. Then Bianca defeats Carmella after Carmella jumps Bianca before the match. And then in our main event, we got a Roman and Cena face-to-face. Roman talks about how, well, Paul Heyman talks about how this version of Roman has never lost a match. Cena says he's going to go get the belt and then go make a movie and just let Roman sit there embarrassed and disheartened. And Roman says if he loses tomorrow night, Saturday, he will quit WWE. That is how confident he is that he's going to walk out champion. If he loses, he'll quit. What are we swallowing from SmackDown?
Oh, fucking everything with Otis.
I
I
say
am,
swallow the everything.
yo,
Otis?
I do. Otis
I mean,
is my
you gotta give it to him.
favorite
He is,
wrestler
he's-
on
he's getting
SmackDown
into it.
to date. Not Roman Reigns, not Edge, not Seth Rollins. Otis is my guy now. He is literally just one or two steps away from being a modern day Kurt Angle. You can quote me on that. Like Otis is the man right now. Like he is legitimately intimidating. We all laughed when we heard the whole thing about Vince McMahon sees something in this guy while he was making out with Mandy Rose in goddamn Chelsea Green's pool. Okay. We all were like, what the hell is he talking about? Now I see it. Like this Otis is amazing. And it's my favorite part of SmackDown, hands down.
You know, it makes sense to me because especially now that Ivar and Eric are no longer on our TVs for whatever reason, that they brought them back and then just kind of sent them back to catering. Especially with that beard you've got going on. Otis is the wrestler you most resemble right now facially.
Shut up, man, you asshole.
So I get it. If you shaved, I don't know if you'd still look like him, but you look like Otis with the goatee when he was making out with Mandy. And much to your credit, you yourself got your own Mandy Rose there at home that you get to make out
Jesse
with.
T, son.
So I get it. I enjoy this just because Montez Ford came out with his hands wrapped in fucking boxer shorts. He's throwing punches, and Otis just shuts him down every chance he get. And like I said, it reminded me of Ivan Drago versus Apollo Creed.
Yep.
I even sent the throw in the damn towel gif out. Like he was just getting killed. He had a few flurries. He tried to come back, but Otis just squashed him. And it was really entertaining. I guess you could, I don't even know what fucking the midget, Shorty G, Gable. There
Jesus.
we go.
God, put some respect on that dude's name, man.
They have not put any respect on that man. I've got no reason to.
100%.
Like Otis has overshadowed him. And so Otis has the ability to get over. He got over with that whole Mandy Rose thing. They kind of fucking jumped the shark by giving him the Money in the Bank because that's not where he was and that's not what we were asking for. But now as a heel, again, he is building himself up and he's overshadowing Gable in this role and making himself a credible, threatening, dominant heel.
I just want them to give him just a couple legitimate big wins. Like if he can get like a shocking win, like get him in that Intercontinental picture, have him beat Apollo Crews, pretty much anybody that's in that like four-way dance. Not Nakamura, but Apollo Crews, Kevin Owens. Yo, if he let him beat Kevin Owens and let some people's eyeballs open a bit to him. Like I think it's fantastic, man. And it goes beyond just his in-ring stuff. I think his presence is fantastic. Like the whole, like the haircut and then the shaving of his beard at first was like really jarring. But looking at him, dude, you see a legitimate athlete in there. Like you see a legitimate presence with that guy. I'm all aboard this fucking Otis train. I really am.
What are you swallowing, Justin?
What are we on? We're swallow?
Yeah, we're still swallowing.
So I'll definitely I'll swallow I'll swallow everything about SmackDown, not the Roman Cena segment. I actually was entertained with the matches that Bianca Belair match had with Zelina and Carmella. I mean, it was more so for Carmella too. She looked like she improved in some things in some areas. Zelina Vega, she improved in some things in some areas. So I thought it was pretty good, pretty good build. I wish Sasha was in there to do more of a build, for their match.
It is the go home show. You should have seen Sasha.
And I'm glad that Nakamura. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm glad that Nakamura is everyone's hyped on him again. So
I'm not, but this whole Nakamura thing is not doing it for me.
You don't like him with the guy with boots, man, with the guitar?
I do. Him taking Corbin's crown and also becoming Intercontinental Champion. Like, I don't know. I feel like
I'm more excited for Boog than I am Nakamura. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to swallow the Edge stuff minus the Brood Bath. Getting the Brood music,
like
that promo that he cut at the beginning of the show, all of that I really enjoyed. It was just really like when we get to the spits, I'm gonna spit the Brood Bath. But I enjoyed that. I don't know how I feel about Corbin and Big E and Corbin stealing. Like, I feel like it, unless something wild happens and Corbin tries to cash in on somebody at SummerSlam and then Big E just kind of takes over because it's his name on the contract. And I talked about this. Like, I don't like the fact that it's Big E's contract and someone can just take it, just like it was Finn's contract and Cena took it. Like,
don't you remember?
Yep.
Morrison cashed in the Miz's contract for him and it got overturned because it didn't rightfully belong to Morrison.
Exactly.
That is literally the last guy that had the Money in the Bank contract.
So if they fuck this up and they let Corbin cash it in, then I'm going to be talking a lot of shit about WWE and their lack of logic. So, obviously I'm swallowing Shotzi and Knox. Shotzi got that roll up pin on Natalia. Looking forward to seeing them as women's tag team champions. You guys swallowing anything else specifically?
Man,
no, that's it.
I mean, I liked Roman's little bit of he beats people so bad that WWE doesn't need him anymore. I think a remark to Daniel Bryan. I thought that was pretty dope. No, I think tonight's SmackDown did well enough. I popped really hard when I heard the Brood stuff. Like that was the highlight for me, man. Hearing the Brood music, acknowledge it. The Freaks come out at night. I think is what Edge said, a callback to one of his like earliest promos. Man, like that junk was great. And then I will say this, I shit on him for not playing the music during that segment, but they did play it when they came back from commercial during replay. So you tried, WWE. It was good. Give him a pass.
What are we spitting from SmackDown?
Fucking this Bianca and Sasha feud, bro. Justin, I don't understand why you like this shit, man. I don't get that. I thought you were a cool guy. I don't understand, man. This feud is
like
god awful,
wrestling.
man. It's god awful. We had it at WrestleMania. Why do we have it now?
I will tell you why. I'm actually really glad you brought this up because I listened to you on Bama Dave's Check Your Temperature. And I heard you say all the stuff that you're getting ready to say, and I'm going to let you say about why you don't like this feud. And then when you're done, I'm going to tell you why this is a good thing and why you should like it. So why enlighten our listeners as to why you're not okay with this.
All right. We had the match at WrestleMania. WrestleMania should be your blow off time. Any feuds that you want to kind of continue, you have them blow off at Backlash, which arguably is a really bad pay-per-view as well. Okay. So there's no reason to have this match again. Sasha disappears all the way up till a couple weeks ago. She comes back. She gets a title shot just because she's here. Whatever. We get that all the time. We get it with Goldberg. We get it with John Cena. Whatever. You're a big star. You come back. You get a title shot. We understand that. Why the hell is Zelina Vega and Carmella helping her? Zelina Vega was trying to prevent Sasha Banks from getting the title shot, and now Zelina Vega agrees to help her. And Carmella kind of falls in that boat too. Makes no sense why they're even there. None of it makes any sense. We had a bad build between Bianca and Sasha going into WrestleMania. It was a terrible build. It was uninspired and it was lazy. And the same thing is happening here. It's all around hot garbage. And on top of that, I really don't like Sasha Banks. Okay, listen, I don't like her. But that's my thing, Matt. You can join the Sasha stands and fucking go.
Here's why you're wrong. Okay. One, I will agree that the build to WrestleMania was not great, but it was probably the best match of the weekend. The issue with the build to WrestleMania was that they wanted to play Bianca as this super nice, sweet baby face. The Bianca that we have gotten recently is the Bianca that we got in NXT. It's the attitude that we wanted from Bianca. It's the Bianca that we wanted to see translated to the main roster that we did not get for that WrestleMania feud. Also, if you look at what's going on SmackDown, there is literally for SummerSlam, which is your second WrestleMania, no one else on the level to challenge her. So if you had one of the best matches of WrestleMania, why not redo that at your next biggest pay-per-view with a different story and a different feud? Because she took the title from Sasha. Of course, Sasha's coming back to get that title. Sasha faked her out, acted like they were friends, turned on her. As far as Zelina and Carmella go, Carmella and Zelina, we don't know what Sasha promised them if they helped her take out Bianca and she became champion. She had a conversation with them, which is why they came out to be witnesses for her. Something happened between them. They maybe should have flushed that out a little more. We should have saw them backstage. She may have promised them title shots, whatever. Zelina had her chance. to get that spot, and she lost to Bianca. That's why she doesn't have her future title shot. They gave her the match that she asked for, and she didn't get the job done. So she doesn't have any gripes here because she had her chance to get it and she lost. But literally with Bayley on the shelf, which by the way, if they had done this with Bayley, we had already seen Bianca versus Bayley for like 2 or 3 pay-per-views before this one. I didn't need another Bianca Bayley match. I was hoping Sasha was going to come back and cut that shit off because I've already watched Bianca repeatedly beat Bayley and Bayley just say, oh, that wasn't fair. Oh, that's not right. Oh, blah, 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 and make excuses. I didn't need a 4th fucking Bianca versus Bayley match. There is nobody on the SmackDown women's roster right now built up to the point to where they could challenge Bianca at SummerSlam for the title. We know that we got great chemistry between Sasha and Bianca. We got a great match out of them at WrestleMania. So all that tells me is we're going to get another great match at SummerSlam. It might not be as good or as special as that one felt when we got it, but they're still going to tear it down. They're going to have great chemistry, and it's going to be a damn good match.
Also, at this point, it doesn't look like it's happening.
Why is that?
Oh, I don't know. I
think the match.
I've been hearing
the match would just speak
interweb
for itself. Yeah, the match would just speak for itself.
Yeah, look, man, I agree with you as far as the in-ring stuff. That's why I didn't touch on that. It was fantastic. When my brother came out tonight, who doesn't watch wrestling, I showed him like the extremely mint Bianca Belair hype video that they only showed one time on SmackDown because some people backstage was like, you know what, we really like the song on that hype video, so we're gonna use that for Raw's entrance theme and never show that shit again.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're not aware, Bianca Belair has an awesome promo package that is the same theme song as Raw's intro, and it's honestly way better. And I told him, I said, look, man, in the ring, those two people tore it down. Like her and Sasha, they deserve the main event on just the in-ring stuff alone. I get that. I just don't like how we're getting there again. And then at the same time, it was so good. It's like, dude, how do you live up to that match again? Especially
but
so
that's
quickly.
like saying never give us The Rock versus Austin again because they did such a good job. Like we saw them in an Intercontinental title feud, then we saw them in 3 WrestleManias, main eventing WrestleMania for that title. Like I'm not putting this on that level. I'm just saying just because one was good doesn't mean never do it again. We got back-to-back HBK versus
logic.
Taker. Like
Man.
HBK Taker at WrestleMania, back-to-back. Like the second one wasn't as good, but it was still fucking awesome.
At least you had a full year between the two and not like 6 months. But
I understand that, and that's part of the society we live in nowadays where everything's TikTok 30-second videos and shit, and everyone wants stuff
100.
now, and they don't want to wait.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm really gonna spit from this show is the brood bath, just the black whatever they dumped on Seth and them calling it the brood bath. Like that was the only thing that I was really like, the Cena and Roman stuff, it wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as last week, but it wasn't bad. It was fine. I kind of wish they had flipped them and done that last week and given us this for the go home, what we had last week for the go home, because that would have really got you excited for tomorrow. But
Cena visually got the arguably 2.5 to 3 count tonight.
Yeah.
After the end of their promo. Did Roman go for an AA?
He tried to. Yeah, that's what it looked like he was trying to do. An AA.
He got him up in like a fireman's carry, like an AA, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's weird.
And that's what I'm saying is like, if we get Roman doing an AA on Cena, like Bobby Lashley can do the jackhammer. Bobby Lashley can do what the fuck ever he wants. Like that WWE title match is going to be shit on by this Universal title match. Like they've done such a good job. And I don't know why outside of them choosing Goldberg for whatever reason, we couldn't have got an inspired build there like we got here, because it's just flopping over on Raw and it's glowing over here on SmackDown.
They don't care about that world title on Raw. They're just as in on Raw being shit on as we are the fans.
Yeah.
I hope it turns around. I hope I'm wrong, because Bobby Lashley deserves fucking so much credit. That man has put up with so much hot garbage and works and busts his ass and is arguably putting out the best stuff in his entire career. And we're almost 2 decades in with Bobby, and he still feels just as fresh as the first time we seen him. But yeah, they just don't give a shit, man.
And this is probably the best shape Bobby's been in too, like all around wrestler too. Like right now, I actually thought they were gonna go New Day versus Bobby, and then whoever wins gets the title, just because they Kofi and Xavier both had victories on Bobby. That would be kind of cool to see maybe Xavier and Kofi go at it, with Bobby in there. That'd be cool. But instead, we're getting COPD Goldberg and his son, who apparently takes steroids. So no, I'm just kidding.
My God,
dude, the way the female fan base reacted to fucking Goldberg's son that first week,
dude, that was
like I can trust me. There are a lot of creepy, shitty, gross wrestling fans that did the same thing for Aaliyah Mysterio on the guy's side, but like I saw somebody posted something along the lines of he may be 16, but that dick is 21. Like, you guys need to chill the fuck out. Like,
yeah,
chill the fuck out.
I saw one where somebody said that they wanted to be speared by him. They want his spear.
Oh my God, dude.
No, like, wow.
I want that jackhammer.
Terrible, man. It's, dude. Yeah, pervs knows no gender. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It was bad.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I do have a theory though. I have a minor theory.
An Austin theory.
No,
an Austin theory.
No, I don't. I have a minor theory about the convoluted Money in the Bank situation. I believe they're not going to do the whole Corbin cashing in. I think this is all to make an argument why Big E will not cash in on Bobby Lashley, because if Corbin wasn't jamming up this briefcase right now, Big E should be on a fast track to cash in on Bobby Lashley after what Bobby did to Kofi Kingston in their last outing.
Well, and the prop. No, go ahead. Sorry, finish.
No, and so that's what I'm saying. So that's my thing. Is I believe the reason why Baron Corbin is jamming this up is so we don't have an argument like where's Big E after Bobby Lashley's match with Goldberg.
And I agree. See, I agree with that. And I think that's the fucking issue is you were telling a great story with the New Day and Bobby Lashley. That's logical conclusion was Big E coming out, cashing in, whether he announced it for SummerSlam or whatever. And instead you subverted us to Lashley versus Goldberg. I pray to God fucking Lashley wins, because if Goldberg wins, why, what, where, like, no, don't fucking do that. But like, it was a beautiful story that could have been told, and it all got put on the back burner for fucking Goldberg. So now it almost has lost its momentum. You need to go back to whatever Lashley was doing with the New Day and rebuild that to get us back to where we were, because I was so ready for a Kofi Kingston or Xavier Woods Bobby Lashley match, or Bobby smashing them and fucking Big E coming out to avenge his brothers, win the title, and go back to Raw. Like, that would have been for me on par with what we're seeing with John Cena and Roman as far as storytelling goes and entertainment. And instead we got fucking Goldberg.
Right.
Like, they could have given us, yeah. And get this. Fuck. They could have given us an awesome fucking episode of Bang Bros, and instead we're getting some shitty homemade fucking porno that someone shot with their iPhone and a ring light, where it's zoomed in on some dude's hairy ass. You don't get any good angles. Like, that's what we went from.
Who's that angle for, by the way?
I have no idea.
Who's the ass pounding fucking angle for?
No idea. It doesn't do it.
I have no idea.
There's somebody out there that must really enjoy like a shot of a man's ass, just
like his
ass
fucking
thrusting.
taint, like just both taints. You got two taints in front of you. Like, who the fuck is that for?
No idea. I skipped past that part. Overall, SmackDown, spit or swallow. I'm gonna swallow SmackDown.
Yeah, same here, man.
Yeah, I gotta swallow it, I guess. Yep. There's still some good.
All right. let's get into what Kyle really wanted to come on the show and talk about. The whole reason why Justin hit me up and said, hey, from the United Center in Chicago, Rampage, the rumors, the speculation, will he be there? Won't he be there? They didn't wait. They kicked it off with CM Punk to one of the loudest crowd reactions I've heard in a very long time.
Oh, before you get copyright strike, sorry.
I also couldn't really hear it, so you had to get closer to the mic.
Oh, it was CM Punk's music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was up there with the pop that Edge got when he came back. Now, I'm not putting this return on the same level as a man whose career was ended and then came back at the Royal Rumble, but the loudness, the excitement, because it's CM Punk and it's fucking Chicago. Like, this was probably the best 20 minutes of wrestling that we got all week. And I was like, InDex was my favorite thing until we got this. Like, it was amazing to see him there, to see him hugging the fans, to see him sit in the ring with the mic, to just be CM Punk.
The timing was perfect. WWE would have got everyone excited for and this isn't a shot at WWE. This is just something that just they're notorious for their timing. I'm not
Just
trying to like shit on them. Is they would have tried to save it for midway to 3/4 to the ending of the show. No, AEW knew exactly why everyone was there, and they wasted no time. You could barely hear the commentators over the CM Punk chants. So having him come out on the very opening to capitalize just on the frothing of the Chicago crowd's mouths that night was perfect.
And mind you, they were all there sitting through Dark and Dark Elevation before this happened too.
Yeah.
Like, we don't see that for Rampage. Like, we just get what happens on Rampage, but they watched matches for Dark and Dark Elevation leading up to this. But as soon as Tony Khan came out and told everyone that they're going to get, what they've been asking for, this and that, and got them ready, and that show kicked off and Cult of Personality hit, they just exploded. And of course they exploded. It's fucking Chicago. We talk about it all the time. Not just one of the greatest wrestling crowds in the world, but his hometown. And it's CM Punk. And here's the thing. I'm not one of those people that's like, I hate that AEW keeps referencing WWE. They just need to worry about their own shit instead. Yeah. I enjoy that, because if you don't take jabs at WWE, how do you expect WWE to get better? So when he came out and said the story of when he left Ring of Honor and how he basically left professional wrestling until tonight when he returned after all that time, and how he spent 7 years in a place that made him sick and he had to go away to get healthy again. And he's sorry for anyone that, he hurt, but he hopes they understand that he had to go get healthy again so he could be here, and why he wanted to be here. And he pointed out the young wrestlers that he wanted to face. And he's like, they're here, so why am I not? Like, the whole thing was just, I mean, we saw people crying in the crowd. I know we were
crying.
We were in the group chat.
Poor fella's going to be like highlighted for years. That one guy, he's
the new angry Miz girl
tonight.
Yep. He's the new angry Miz girl.
The new angry Miz girl.
Yeah.
It felt so special, and it felt so good to see him there with
genuine.
People actually chanting his name. Like, it
felt
was
genuine. And then he hugged Vince from Smackin' It Raw. I'm telling you.
we don't know where Vince was sitting, but Kyle swears to God he saw him ringside. And
the first guy CM Punk embraces, I swear to God, is SES Vince. Okay, like,
we'll have to get some confirmation on Vince for that. And if so, I need to know how hard he was afterwards, because if that was me, I would have been rock hard. He even dove into he did a crowd dive. Like, he just jumped into the crowd and security had to pull him back. Like,
dude, wait. Yeah, man, he got it.
It was the fucking coolest thing.
Could not have done it any better. It really couldn't have. Now I had a fun theory, and I'm happy I was wrong. But recently, Wrestle Talks Adam Blampied released how he would book CM Punk's return, and he teased the idea of CM Punk starting out heel, which was pretty neat. Now, the story CM Punk told is way better than this one in hindsight, but I actually kind of bought into that he was going to come out and act like he came back for the money. It was all publicized. Everything was perfectly laid out as like a marketing strategy, and he would beat up Colt Cabana. And so I was intrigued to see if CM Punk would come out, because we got a little bit of that. We heard a little bit of the Chicago bitterness tonight, of his stuff that went on with Colt. There were some people I saw on Twitter, not a lot, but some people that were like, look, he didn't earn it yet, you know. So I was like, damn, they could have leaned into that. But nah, man, he did everything, dude. It was 20 minutes of an hour-long broadcast. He got a third of it. He got 33% of that hour-long broadcast with that tonight, and they nailed it, man. It was fantastic.
Unfortunately, in my opinion, I feel like the rest of the show didn't hold up because of the CM Punk hangover. Like,
yeah, no.
The other 2/3 of the show were just kind of there because
I'm
everyone
relying on you to tell me what happened, man. I don't
down.
even remember.
Well, at the end of the segment, CM Punk promised everyone free ice cream bars.
Yeah.
Can you explain that reference? I vaguely understand it.
During the pipe bomb,
he was supposed to get those. Yeah.
During the pipe bomb,
during the pipe bomb, Summer of Punk, he was saying that he was trying to get everything that he wanted for the fans, you know, and the ice cream bars is one of the things that he promised was going to re-debut in all the grocery stores, but it never happened for whatever reason. It never happened.
Well, yes and no. So basically, when he came out and he complained about WWE and he cut the pipe bomb, and you know this, he talked about how he is the biggest draw in WWE, but he's not on any of the cups. He's not on any of this or that or blah, blah, blah. And he goes, WWE used to have ice cream bars. I want my face on a fucking ice cream bar. Like, it was part of his list of demands from WWE as what he wanted.
Okay. And then he never delivered tonight. And they delivered tonight.
He got, I don't know if his face was on him, but they had ice cream bars. He took his sweater off. They had that awesome I Was There shirt with the CM Punk logo, which I tried again. I was going to text Vince and be like, hey, I'll quick pay you. Grab me one of those shirts. But I saw the lines and I was like, fuck that. I'll just wait and order one, because I have not ordered any AEW merch. But again, with Malachi Black being there and now CM Punk, my AEW t-shirt collection is going to grow.
Not even the bloody face Britt Baker?
No, I did not.
Really, man? That's a hardcore shirt, man. Even I got that one.
I liked it.
And that takes a lot of explanation.
It's like some evil, but I mean, it looks like an evil. It looks like a scene out of Evil Dead, which is why I figured it would be right up Matt's alley.
I don't know why. I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the picture. It was cool. I also, I've got a Becky Lynch shirt, and it might be the bloody face Becky Lynch shirt, but I don't remember. So yeah, I haven't done it.
I have the one.
Yeah, there's nothing that AEW's done with the character where, outside of Adam Page, which he just doesn't have any shirts that appeal to me, where I was like, I want something from that guy. But now they're getting these guys in there, and it's not just them. Like, they're doing other stuff with their characters. Like I said, they're building MJF. Now they're going to build Darby Allin even more. They've been building Jungle Boy. Like, they're integrating wrestlers that are well-known with names while still building new stars, which is the biggest compliment I can give them. Like, they are really finally bringing me in and drawing me in. There are some things that I'd like to see from them. I'd like to see a little bit more representation, both from the women and across the title scene. You know, guys like Will Hobbs that I think has a lot of potential that I don't think is being utilized the way he could be. So those things I'd like to see, but outside of that, like, they're really starting to draw me into being an AEW fan, hardcore. So I give them all the props in the world. As far as the rest of the show goes, we got Christian Cage promo saying that the Bucks won't have friends from their trampoline in the steel cage against Jurassic Express, and that Kenny's going to lose his belt. Jurassic Express defeat Private Party to move on to the finals of the Tag Team Eliminator Tournament. Jade squashes Kira Hogan real quick in like a 30-second match. We got 2.0 and Garcia and Mox being interviewed by Mark Henry before Mox defeats Garcia. 2.0 attacks Mox, and then Kingston, Sting, and Darby come down, make the save, clear the ring, and then we finish the show with Mox, Kingston, Darby, Sting, all
Kingston
standing tall.
posing with Darby and Sting is fantastic, man.
Yeah. So obviously I'm swallowing CM Punk. Like that was, I don't get that emotion a lot in wrestling anymore. Like there are cool moments. Like last week with the Cena and Roman promos, like that felt good. That felt cool. That felt like something we haven't gotten in a while. When Edge came back, you get that, but it's not something we get very often anymore. This was special and unique and felt good. And they did it in the right place at the right time. They made a match for All Out. So if they hadn't already sold out All Out, or if there were tickets, now they're definitely getting the buy rates now. Like people are going to buy it for that reason. It was cool. Jurassic Express match. It was good. I didn't care about Never Rise. I don't care about 2.0. I'm not sold on Danny Garcia, but they see something in the guy, so they're trying to build him up. That's why they put him against Mox in the main event, which is again another young guy that they're trying to build up. That was not a WWE guy that they're putting up against Mox. Like they're doing these things. So I give AEW more credit today than I've ever given them. And also booking of Miro. Miro's been fantastic. I love Miro as the TNT champion and what he's been doing. So props to AEW. I'm going to swallow Rampage. I'm sure you guys are as well. They could have given me 20 minutes of Rampage and I would have swallowed the whole show. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely going to swallow Rampage as well. I mean, for all reasons that you said is the same thing. The one thing I want to say, like, CM Punk going to AEW kind of gives me the same vibe of when Terry Funk went to ECW. Basically, kind of the same thing, helping them out, helping them get established and this and this. Obviously, CM Punk is a little bit more over than Terry Funk. Don't at me at that.
Former NWA champion,
the other
Justin.
thing I kind of it's still real to me, damn. Okay, but basically, the one thing that I noticed that me and my brother noticed when we watched the show was the shot of Sting up in the rafters where Chicago Bulls have 6 championships. Shout out. Is that was the first time Sting had dropped, was in that same spot, I believe, when he did it years ago. So I thought that was dope. It was a little Easter egg, you know what I'm saying? So that was cool. And then the whole vibe of CM Punk being back home, being in the United Center, I thought it was just great. It was like you said, it was emotional. I got my CM Punk shirt right now. I'm going to be here, but yeah, it was great. And if that was Vince hugging CM Punk, yo, man, how did he smell? Did he smell like AJ Lee? That's all I want to know.
Smelled like parts of AJ Lee. At least on his breath. So the other thing about it is that's the thing. They went to the United Center for this, right? If you had done All Out, it would have been CM Punk in Hoffman Estates, not in Chicago. And I like that AEW does recognize, like they said, we'll be in Hoffman Estates. They're not saying we'll be in Chicago like WWE does when they run Rosemont and they're not in fucking they're not in Chicago, they're in Rosemont. It's not the same having CM Punk show up in Hoffman Estates near Chicago as it is at the fucking United Center. Like they picked this place specifically. It was fantastic. So
he lives not far from there too. I don't know if you know that, Kyle, but so the crowd that is at United Center is not going to be kind of the same crowd that would go to Rosemont, just because of Rosemont and United Center are too, like, they're far away from each other.
Go ahead, do me a favor and try to break down the difference in a way that a complete idiot like myself would understand.
So the United Center is on the west side of Chicago, in the city of Chicago,
in the heart, basically. Yeah,
the heart.
Not
Thank
the
you.
Heart. Well, not the heart, but like on the outskirts, like not really.
The lungs.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's not
in the city.
Dead center heart, but it's in the city limits of Chicago.
Is it vital? Like if it was a part of the human body, you'd die.
Yeah, it's the jugular.
Across the street.
Jugular.
Across the street. Across the street, man.
The Allstate Arena is in Rosemont, which is probably 25-30 minutes outside of the city. And then the Now Arena is in Hoffman Estates, which is another 15 minutes farther. So about 45 minutes outside of the city.
So that's kind of like, just like, what's it called? Fuck. I should have done better with anatomy.
Here, I'll put in a movie example. Okay. which it was the one in Hoffman Estates is like the movie Home Alone. That's the crowd that you're gonna see over there mostly.
Okay.
Okay, and then you got Rosemont Horizon. That's like kind of like I don't want to be mean, but kind of like the Mean Girls crowd, right? And you see
Okay.
you have some elements of the city there. The United Center, you're gonna see people that you normally see at the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight movie, like people that the extras all in the Dark Knight movie. That's the type of people you're gonna see in the United Center. I guarantee you, if it wasn't gonna be Vince at the United Center, it was gonna be some white guy at Hoffman Estates. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yo,
Does that make
timestamp this
sense?
shit, Matt. All right, this is good.
So
This is educational right
I
here.
hope that makes some sense.
in Smackin' and Raw terms, the United Center would be your Jenna Jameson, your
Yeah, there you go.
who else can we go that's super popular and over
The Mia Khalifa.
Bella Anderson,
Mia Khalifa, your
Mila
like your
Khalifa,
Jenna
there you go.
Hayes,
There you go.
really well known.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Alexis Texas.
Then you get to your Rosemont, your Allstate Arena,
Yeah.
and that's again, it's your Gianna Michaels, it's your Sophie D, like well-known porn stars, but not like mainstream porn stars where people that don't regularly watch porn would know their name. They might recognize them, but they don't know their name. But oh yeah, you're in porn. Then you get to the Now Arena in Hoffman Estates, and then you're getting a little more obscure. You're getting shit.
These are the POVs. These are the
Kendra
famous from
Sunderland. You're getting basically anyone that you'd see in a trailer at the bottom on Pornhub
POVs.
where they've got like the ads. Yeah. Like that's who you're getting with the Now Arena. It's just the random girls like, oh, I know her because I saw her in a trailer somewhere and it's kind of familiar. So
yeah. And we're not shitting on anybody that lives in these areas. We're not shitting anybody.
Oh no, because I live. I'm in Elgin right now. Like I'm closer to the Now Arena than I am anywhere else. Like we're out in the suburbs.
We're just trying to say like how notable somebody who's not from Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like this. If you're not from New York, everyone thinks New York looks like Times Square, but you forget New York has a huge countryside that resembles nothing like what people know, which is what Matt's coming to, is these porn stars. Everyone knows who these major porn stars are, which is the arena CM Punk was in, when the one that All Out's going to be in might be these lesser known porn stars.
Yes. And also nowhere in Chicago is like Buffalo. So there's nowhere in Chicago that is equivalent to Buffalo. So not even Buffalo
Grove. Not even Buffalo Grove.
What do you guys go ahead, Kyle?
Oh, so I missed one thing. This was one soundbite. It's going to be kind of, if I fuck up the tempo, I'm sorry, but I meant to get this in earlier and I just forgot. I think there was a lot more to respect about Chris Jericho's match with MJF. I think Chris Jericho is hitting that like peak. And the thing is, when you hit that peak, you start to descend. And him capitalizing on fans still chanting his song when arguably we're probably not far off from that song becoming old and stale, because we've been listening to it for 3 years, and him getting an entire arena to belt it out at the rate that they did, and then also invest in one of his matches when we're probably not too far off of maybe losing a little bit of interest. So I think with him having the match with MJF at the time that he did, and then not only that, the dramatic loss, not him losing by distraction, but losing clean as a whistle and tapping out. I think this is going to be going like as one of the most underrated big moments in AEW history, as far as that moment in Dynamite when he tapped out to MJF, because I think we were not far off of interest in Chris Jericho slightly diminishing. I'm not saying like the dude was going to be a nobody 2 months from now, but I think they capitalized like just at his peak. And that's just something that went through my head when I saw him tap out. I was like, wow, I think this is the biggest impact he could have made at this time. And I thought it was very well timed. I don't know. You guys can tell me if I'm off on this, but that was kind of what crossed my mind at the time.
I don't necessarily disagree. I definitely feel like Jericho putting a guy like MJF over is a big deal, especially now. And him kind of, I mean, if he does bow out for a little bit, goes on tour, whatever, comes back with something fresh and new as far as theme music goes, because I don't think he's done. I think we'll see him again. This might be the best thing for him right now is, as you said, his peak in AEW. They kind of unceremoniously broke up the inner circle. Like Conan's off with these guys. Jake Hager's doing whatever the fuck Jake Hager does. Sammy's doing his own thing. He's got his knockoff Stone Cold vest and doing whatever the fuck he does. This is the perfect time for Jericho to take a break, go away before, like you said, he does kind of see that descent and get stale. And that's one thing that Jericho's always been great about, is knowing when to stop and when to come back and reinvent himself. So I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I thought the timing like of how it played out, create 5 matches week for week and just gain as much interest as it can. I thought it was just it was going through my head like as he was tapping out. I was like, wow, this if this was by design, and if this guy and myself are on the same wavelength, I thought that was really impressive. Like just you got the most out of it that he could provide.
I just want to say Vince confirmed legit ice cream bars for free handed out.
Nice.
Legit ice cream bars.
Why is that what he's confirming? No, did he hug CM Punk tonight?
I haven't asked him that question yet. That
like,
he was asked the ice cream bar question earlier.
We want, Matt.
I will take care of that. Listen, I got confirmation from Kenny that Corbin was giving out hand jobs after SmackDown. When Kenny went to SmackDown. I know what the people want. I will get confirmation. You just in my own time.
I do agree with you. No, Kyle.
Oh, go ahead.
I do wish that match was on a bigger stage, though, not free TV. That's my only gripe. But I understand in the layout that they're looking at, AEW had to do something right now. So, that's probably my only gripe. But the match was great, I thought. Probably Jericho's one of his best matches on AEW. MJF too.
I don't think that the build-up matches were structured properly as far as like building anticipation.
You're right.
But I will agree with that as well. Overall, like I said, we're all swallowing AEW Rampage, right?
Yeah.
Might be recency bias, maybe not, but AEW Rampage, best show of the week.
Yeah.
I
20 minutes.
20 minutes of AEW Rampage, best thing that happened all week.
Yeah, man. No, nothing. No, yeah, you can't.
And it's going to be hard. Just like Kyle said in the beginning of the show, it's going to be hard for every wrestling show, even New Japan is happening in a couple minutes, is going to be hard for them to outperform what just happened on AEW Rampage.
Wait. Is Hiroshima Tamagotchi going to be on the show?
Oh my God, dude. What the fuck, Matt?
I'm not aware. Tamagotchi will be.
Yes, no. So basically, it's me trolling Savannah because Savannah's a big.
I was about to
fan.
say like Savannah.
So in the chats for the She Elite Showcase, which you guys can find on Smack Raw, which I'm going to have Kyle plug here in a little bit. Everything Smack Raw's been doing because they've been doing some great things with Bama.
Thank you.
Big things
Thank
over
you
there
very much.
I've been trolling Savannah with her love of New Japan and pretending like it started with me saying that I don't know what Japanimania is, which is, whatever their thing. I was calling it, Wrestle Kingdom, and that I didn't think it was real. And now I've just gone and made fake names for all of the Japanese wrestlers. Like instead of Tetsuya Naito, it's Titisuo Naito. Hiroshima Tamagotchi instead of Hiroshi Tanahashi. Like I know who these people are, and it's more just me having fun and fucking with Savannah. because she's a big mark for Kenny Omega and the Bucks and all of the things that I'm not a huge fan of. They're all right, but it's not my favorite shit.
Shout out.
So that's all it is. But as I said on Twitter, listen, most people come over to AEW and they are all elite. Mox is all elite. So-and-so is all elite. Miro's all elite. Malachi Black is all elite. Tonight in Chicago, even if it's just for tonight, AEW was Punk.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's going to be the biggest thing and the best thing of the week. Kyle, please tell us about Smack Raw. Tell us about what you guys have going on. You were just on Bama's Check Your Temperature. You got 2 of those out. He's knocking out shows left and right, making life real easy for you.
Yeah, I gotta say, man. So Smacked Raw, we put out wrestling podcasts. They're enjoyable. No, listen, man, Bama's been awesome. If I can be really genuine, I've been on this show for over 2 years now, and one of the running jokes about us is we've chewed up and spit out co-hosts for a minute. I've got to say, Bama, Savannah, Katie Bebe, and RN have been the most talented people. No knocking against former hosts on the show like Jay Thunder and Kevin Crazy, and of course Rob Roode, who I all love, and of course Sebastian as well, the AJ Styles.
Let's not forget, along with those awesome hosts, is the co-host that I got from you guys, which is my co-host SES Vince, who was also great.
Daddy's home.
I'm contractually obligated to not compliment Vince. I cannot compliment or acknowledge.
But I'm here and I'm going to compliment Vince. So
yeah,
continue.
Pornhub Poppy.
But no, Bama's been fantastic. His whole thing is the psychology of professional wrestling, the matter of acknowledging kayfabe, and a lot of us have become addicted to knowing the ongoings behind the scenes. Bama has very much resisted against that, and he acknowledges what makes professional wrestling fans, and I respect him for that. And then, not to mention, Check Your Temperature and these theme shows that he puts on are amazing. And then, not to mention, the young talent between Katie Bebe and Savannah doing the She-Elite showcase, which is scheduled every week on Thursdays, typically somewhere between 9 and 9:30, coming out on our Twitch channel, at Smacked Raw, or twitch.tv/Smacked Raw. It's awesome. I love listening to them. I genuinely say that I'm like the least popular host on the whole thing, because unlike what you said about RN,
he's a grumpy old fuck.
I know he is, but he
can't stay up late to do anybody's shows. So
I love investing so much in the people that I work with that I often don't think about myself. And that's something I'm very proud of, is because these guys and girls all deserve to be listened to. And so if you follow us on Smack Raw Pod, you'll see the days that we go live. And everybody over here is fantastic. And if you get a chance to laugh at me too, that's cool. I enjoy that. But I take much more pride in celebrating the talent of all my co-hosts on Smacked Raw. So please follow us on Twitter at Smacked Raw Pod. Subscribe to youtube.com/Smacked Raw Podcast, twitch.tv/Smacked Raw Pod. Or no, excuse me, just Smacked Raw. We just changed it. And if you want to follow me too, I'm on Twitter at The Kai Tai Show. Thank you.
And also the Hammers Lounge, if you are an MMA fan.
That too. Yeah, we're talking pro wrestling. I forget about that. But Hammers Lounge, thank you. Thank you so much. I dropped a fire tweet, by the way. If you're an old school MMA fan, I dropped a fire tweet about Boss Rutan tonight. Go check it out at Hammers Lounge on Twitter.
So I'm going to take a second before I let Justin plug his shit, which anyone that's been watching Smackin' Raw podcast knows where you guys can find Get Your Podcast and how much I love them. Hopefully they're going to come back soon. I know, unfortunately, I was supposed to maybe show up. That's not going to work out in studio, sadly, but we are going to make that happen. But before I do that, let me put Smack Raw over real quick, because as I said, I I met Vince while he was still Smacked Raw, and through that relationship, I made a relationship with you and RN, Sebastian a little bit, not so much, but Rob Roode, who loves me for whatever reason, I don't know why, and then obviously from Smacked Raw, Katie, who has been a frequent guest here because not only is she awesome, but also very available when I need her. So I appreciate the shit out of her for that. But you've cultivated a lot of this talent. You've got a lot of these people here, and you've seen the talent in these people and given them a platform to start out. And whether they're branching out on their own or whatever, it's due to what you guys did over at Smacked Raw. So I appreciate that. Also, me collaborating with other podcasts started with you guys. So what I've created here started with branching out to Smacked Raw. I will say that we are the name brand cereal and they are the store brand cereal, or a more apt comparison is we are AEW with our open door policy and our bullshits and all of the swearing, and they're the toned down PG WWE over there.
Fuck, I hate that.
I know you do. That's why I had to put it in there. They're the more corporate side, but you guys are fantastic. You guys have done a lot of great shit, and seeing the way Katie has grown, and the She League showcase and everything, and the way you guys have all grown, and now what you guys are doing with Bama, there's a lot of cool shit. But Kyle, not to downplay you, the best thing and one of my favorite things that I've ever done outside of my podcast, which is The Shit, and we're the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, is Unpopular Wrestling Opinions. It's always fun to watch. It's always fun to be on. I've been on, Justin's been on, and you do a great job hosting that. That is probably the best thing you've done over there at SmackDown, in my opinion. And I hope to see more of that and get to come back on, because I got to say, in my personal opinion, I'm the best guest you've ever had, but that's just biased because it's me. And I'm always going to put myself over. So you guys have done awesome shit over there throughout the entire time I've worked with you guys. So I was happy to have you back on, and don't put yourself down, because you've helped create some really cool shit, and you've been a part of that and done this. So
I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, my friend.
Justin, tell us about SmackDown. Tell us about your horrible appearance on that Star Wars show that I wasn't on, and your bad grades and all that good shit.
Well, newsflash, Get Your Podcast likely will be coming back this week to review SummerSlam. You know what I'm saying? So we are back finally after a long hiatus break. Asia's gotta, take a break, you know what I'm saying? We can't work all the time. And so basically, you can find me at Get Your Podcast on Twitter, Get Your Podcast on Instagram. I too was on, Unpopular Opinion show, so you can find me also there, me and my crew. That was some of our funnest things that we did, with the homie Kyle over here. I was also on Bama show as well with Katie and Kenny for Your Thoughts doing his show, saying check your temperature there. I was on that show as well. I did a Star Wars review with my boy Reek, Flair, Savannah, and Katie, talking about the prequels, you know what I'm saying? I also did, multiple episodes with Smackin and Raw. So if you like to hear my voice, just look up all those shows, you know what I'm saying?
Or if you just want to go to Pornhub, put us on silent and jerk off to his beautiful bald face, do that too.
Telling you, man, the Howie Mandel of wrestling podcast right here.
That's Howie Mandel. That I might have to change my name to that, But I also want to say props to you, Kyle. I know on the Twitch streams, I think you leveled up, right?
Yeah, we just hit affiliate. I now sincerely, without joking, I owe a large portion of that to Katie's streams. I partnered out with Putting You Over, and I kind of hoard our show out to Putting You Over's Twitch stream for a long time. And Katie's show was the sole Twitch stream on Smacked Raw, and she's the one who got us to affiliate. She deserves all the credit in the world, but thank you. Thank you. That is a great milestone that we're very proud of.
That's a milestone. Not a lot of people can do that. And guess what? You didn't have to do it by putting yourself in a kiddie pool half naked either. So
yeah, or licking those weird ear microphones as well too. I've seen that. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, apparently on Twitch, they like to lick ear-shaped microphones now.
They like it. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird place. That place is.
All right. But
yeah,
we got to close this out. As much as I want to talk about Kyle in a kiddie pool licking ear microphones, we got to close this out. So for Kyle from Smacked Raw and Justin from the Get Show podcast, I am the Warden Matt Ritter. We are Smackin' a Raw, and we are the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub.
Mom, I made it.